Have you ever noticed how two people can walk through the same difficult season, yet come out completely different? One becomes bitter, the other becomes wiser. One sees only disappointment, the other discovers strength they never knew they had. What makes the difference? Years ago, in a quiet farming village, there lived an elderly potter named Benjamin. His workshop was small. The shelves were filled with simple clay bowls, cups, and jars. People admired his work because every piece seemed to have its own character. One afternoon, a young man named Lucas came to visit. He had recently lost his job. His engagement had ended. Nothing in his life seemed to be going according to plan. "I don't understand," Lucas said. "I work hard. I try to do the right thing, yet everything keeps falling apart." Benjamin listened without interrupting. When Lucas finished speaking, the old potter picked up an empty clay jar. He handed it to the young man. "What do you see?" "An empty jar." Benjamin nodded. "Good. Now come with me." They walked outside to a nearby stream. Benjamin scooped a handful of mud and dropped it into the jar. "What do you see now?" "A dirty jar." Without saying a word, Benjamin added a few smooth stones, then a handful of wildflowers. Finally, he poured clean water into the jar. Lucas looked confused. "The mud is still there," he said. "Yes," Benjamin replied, "but is that all you notice?" Lucas looked again. The flowers floated gently on the surface. The stones rested neatly at the bottom. The water reflected the afternoon sunlight. The jar no longer seemed dirty. It looked beautiful. Benjamin smiled. "Life is much like this jar. Pain will find its way into everyone's life. No one escapes disappointment, but after the mud arrives, you still get to decide what else you place inside." Lucas remained silent. The old man continued, "You can fill your life with resentment or with gratitude. You can collect anger or collect wisdom. You can replay every failure or remember every lesson. The mud may never disappear completely, but it doesn't have to become the whole story." Those words stayed with Lucas. The following months weren't easy. He still had bills to pay. He still searched for work. He still faced uncertainty. But each evening, before going to bed, he wrote down one good thing that happened that day. Sometimes it was something small, a stranger holding the door, a conversation with an old friend, a beautiful sunset, a hot meal. Some days, finding one good thing felt almost impossible. But he kept looking. Slowly, his perspective began to change. One morning, he was offered a modest job at a local hardware store. It wasn't his dream career, but he accepted it with gratitude. There, he met people who encouraged him. He learned new skills. He regained confidence. Years later, Lucas opened his own business. People often asked him the secret to staying positive during difficult times. Instead of giving a long speech, he simply kept an old clay jar on a shelf in his office. Inside were a few smooth stones, some dried flowers, and a little dried mud at the bottom. Whenever someone asked about it, he smiled. It's a reminder, every life contains a little mud, but no life has to be filled with only mud. The story isn't really about a jar. It's about perspective. Every single one of us carries something. Disappointment, loss, fear, regret. Those experiences are real. They deserve to be acknowledged, but they don't have to define us forever. At the same time, we also have the ability to carry hope, kindness, gratitude, patience, forgiveness, courage. The things we choose to hold on to often shape the way we experience the world. Life rarely becomes easier overnight, but it often becomes lighter when we focus not only on what's missing, but also on what's meaningful. You don't need a perfect life to find moments worth appreciating. Sometimes they're hidden in ordinary days. A shared meal, a quiet morning, a phone call from someone who cares. a chance to begin again. Those simple moments become the treasures we remember most. So if you're walking through a difficult season today, remember the old clay jar. Your story may contain mud, but it can also contain beauty, and every new day gives you another chance to decide what you'll place inside. Thank you for spending these few minutes with me. If this story meant something to you, I'd love to hear your thoughts. If your life were a jar, what is one good thing you'd choose to place inside today? Share your answer in the comments below. Someone reading your comment may find the encouragement they need. If you enjoy thoughtful stories filled with timeless life lessons, don't forget to subscribe and join us for another story next week. Until next time, take care of your heart, hold on to what truly matters, and remember, even when life adds a little mud, you can still choose to fill your jar with hope,